In the heart of the wilderness, far from the comfort of civilization, Moses encountered an extraordinary sight: a burning bush that was not consumed by flames. This was no ordinary bush, it was a divine appointment. God was about to call Moses for a purpose that would forever change the course of history. Sometimes God's calling is unexpected and beyond our comprehension. Moses, even though he was raised as a nobleman, had spent years as a shepherd in the wilderness, seemingly removed from his past and God's chosen people. But God's timing is perfect, and he called Moses just when he needed him the most. Moses' initial response was one of humility, but also reluctance. He questioned God's choice. He said, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" Moses felt insufficient for such a monumental task. He was overwhelmed by the enormity of God's calling and doubted his own abilities. God's response to Moses was both reassuring and powerful. God said, "I will be with you." God didn't call Moses because he was strong or wise, but because of God's strength and wisdom, God's own divine presence. Moses needed to understand that he wouldn't undertake this mission alone. God would be his strength, guide, and his protector. Despite God's reassurance, Moses still hesitated. He offered excuses about his speech impediment. However, God reminded him that he is the one who gives people the ability to speak, and that he will be in his mouth. Ultimately, Moses accepted God's calling and became a powerful instrument in God's hand. He led the Israelites out of Egypt. He witnessed God's miraculous power and received the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. Moses' journey was marked by challenges, but his obedience and faith in God's plan allowed him to fulfill his calling. Moses' story reminds us that God often calls us in unexpected ways and unexpected times. It may feel daunting and we may doubt our abilities, but God equips and empowers those he calls. When we surrender to his will, he works through our weaknesses, turning them into strengths. Let us be inspired by Moses' journey. Let us be inspired by his initial reluctance, his questioning, and his eventual acceptance of God's calling. May we too trust in God's presence and guidance as we seek to fulfill the unique purpose he has for each one of us, knowing that with God, all things are possible. Let's embrace God's plans today.